What's good, Greatness Gang? Welcome back to another reaction. And today, I got the reaction that you all requested. Many of you have requested this group, and their name is Rush. Okay, so the song that I'm going to be reacting to is Tom Sawyer. I'm going to be reacting to the live version, but before we get into the reaction, I decided to look up a clip from one of the band members, Geddy Lee, from one of his interviews, and he's going to be talking about how he became the bassist for Rush. And the reason why I decided to do that is because when I was looking up the song to react to, I saw a lot of interview clips of him popping up. So I was like, let me check out some of the background of this group, since I don't know anything about them. I never even heard of these guys. So let's get into the interview. It's from, he's talking with Dan Rather. So let's get into it.
Well, I grew up in a suburb of Toronto, northern part of the city. I was from a lower income, Jewish family. My parents were Holocaust survivors that had immigrated after the war. They came in around 47, 48.
Oh, wow.
And my dad ran a discount store in a town called Newmarket, Ontario, Canada. And he passed away, unfortunately, when I was about 12. And my mom took over the store. And so my grandmother moved in with us, who was also a survivor. And we lived in this suburb and went to school and, tried to assimilate as best we could into the culture while my mom, went to work every day. So because she wasn't around, I think I had a little more freedom than your average kid. And I got in with a bad crowd, and a crowd that loved rock music. And it sort of was my first taste of playing music, and I got the bug quite early. Knew that that's what I wanted.
And your first instrument was what?
I first bought an acoustic guitar. I begged my mom to loan me some money to buy the acoustic guitar from the guy who lived next door. He had a beautiful acoustic guitar that had palm trees painted on it, and I had to have it. So she relented, loaned me the money to buy it. I had to work it off in the store, of course, every Saturday. And I taught myself Pretty Woman by Roy Orbison on it, and I was hooked.
And you were about what age then?
I was about 12, and then I played in a little band of neighbors. I think we called ourselves the Dusty Coconuts back then. And we would meet at our friend's house, and I was playing guitar at the time, and then we were told that the mother of the kid who was supposed to play bass, his mother wouldn't let him be in the band anymore because he didn't like the crowd. So they voted and said I was going to be the new bass player. So I went back to my mom. I begged her to lend me, money to buy a bass guitar. I went to the local music shop, and she said okay. Again, I had to work it off, working in the store on Saturdays. And so I bought my first electric bass guitar and sort of haven't looked back.
And by this time you're in high school?
Yeah, I was in junior high school at the time. And around that same time, there was a fellow in my class named Alex Živojinovic. And we both sat at the back of the class, and he was really funny. And we sort of connected, and he played guitar. And before you know it, we were starting to jam together. And I didn't know at the time that I would spend the rest of my life with this crazy Serbian guy. And he was actually in a band called Rush. And so I wasn't sort of a founding member, but I was sort of just a pal. And they were scheduled to do a show at a local drop-in center, which was in the basement of a church. And their bass player couldn't make it for some reason, and Al called me up in a panic saying, do you think you could play the gig with us? And I said, well, sure. So I went down, I learned the songs that afternoon. I think we only knew about 4 songs anyway. We just kept playing over and over again. And we did the gig, and then we went to the local deli for French fries and gravy, which was the tradition of the band in that day. And that's how my career with Al started.
I mean, you're such an accomplished musician with so many instruments now. And this is not blowing smoke at you, it's just obvious. You're a terrific musician. Do you think you were born with this talent, or it's something that one way or the other you absorbed coming up?
It's a good question. I mean, I think people are born with aptitudes. Whether they ever mine those aptitudes or discover what those aptitudes are seems to be sometimes a random act of fate. I think I did have an aptitude for music, and once I stumbled onto the guitar, it just sort of took over my life. And it was one of the first things I ever did as a young kid that I was good at. You know, I tried sports. I was fairly hopeless at sports. And, you know, I was sort of a quiet, you know, reserved guy, very nerdy in my early years. And then I discovered this instrument, and before I know it, I was mastering it by ear. And obviously that must come from, you know, something in me. And years later, I found out that my dad played an instrument in the old country. So I like to think I came by the talent honestly.
But you said something that interests me, because I find this is often true. You said it was something at which you were very good.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally you find something you're good at. You're not particularly good at soccer or sports, you said.
Right.
And I find it very natural you'd gravitate to that and say, well, I'm good at that. That's something that I can build an identity around.
Yeah, exactly. You know, playing music made me feel good about myself. And, you know, when I look back now, I see it, you know, I was a fairly quiet, isolated kid that didn't have a lot of outside connection with the world. And then I find music, and I find that I'm good at it, so it made me feel good about myself. So, you know, it was natural that I was going to run with that, I think. Well, I grew up...
The last part, the irony of him saying he was a kid and didn't have a lot of outside connection to the world, and when you become a worldwide rock star, like, you can't escape the outside world at that point, which is crazy. Interesting story from Geddy Lee. So I like hearing about how musicians start in their background, and I love when it's like they don't expect to take off the way they do, and they just like, oh, I was just playing around, but next thing you know, you're a rock legend. So let's get into Tom Sawyer Live. This is from say the Snakes and Arrows tour, recorded at the Ahoy Arena in Rotterdam, Netherlands on October 16th and 17th, 2007. Oh, and I think one of you all mentioned in the comments that it's only a 3-piece band, which is also interesting. I don't think I ever saw a band yet that the lead singer was the bass player. And also, that drum set is crazy. That's like 50 drums. What is the name of this type of drum set? Oh, there's that multiple instrument thing. The multiple instrument skills that he mentioned in the interview. Oh, wow. Who is this guy? Let me go back. I love little stuff like that. When the musicians aren't just standing there playing, but their little nuances, their interactions with each other, their interactions with the crowd. I like stuff like that. They're performing. Oh man. Oh, Rush, Tom Sawyer. My takeaway from this is a band that likes to have fun. Especially towards the end, and I like that interaction that they had with each other, the playfulness of the drummer. Let me know the drummer's name, because to be able to do all of that, he was like a octopus up there. Geddy Lee. He seemed like he could be a one-man band, to be honest. Versatile musician. When he got on the synthesizer, the music started to sound futuristic and vintage at the same time. It was kind of interesting, that balance. The other guitarist, I don't know his name, but I love his crowd control, especially with it only being a 3-man band. Like, you gotta keep the crowd's attention. Yeah, I couldn't understand everything Getty was saying, but I like his voice tone. I like the texture of his voice. I need to hear more from these guys. Let me know, what do you recommend next from Rush? And thank you a lot for this recommendation. This was a fun one. Also, I got my Patreon up. I'm going to be uploading on there often. So if you want to subscribe to it, the link is in the description. I appreciate you all, Greatness Gang. Thank you.